Hello, my name is Vashmanata, and today I will be doing my FOA on how Donald Trump altered typical campaign strategies to fit today's culture. Here's a brief summary of Trump's strategies. He completely ignores certain aspects of politics. He discards minorities and appeals to conservative voters. He takes advantage of simplicity. He sparks drama and uproar amongst candidates and the media, and he discards political correctness. So, how does Trump ignore certain aspects of politics? Trump makes a lot of promises. He claims that he will reduce unemployment, that he will take away the U.S. national debt, he will stop illegal immigrants from entering the country. And of all these three, besides illegal immigrants, Trump isn't specific at all about how he will do it. He is very vague on how these things will be achieved. And this is a plus for him because what this does is it doesn't limit the people that will vote for him. Bernie Sanders, for instance, he uh, he promises that he will make college tuition free throughout the entire country. And while this sounds like a very good prospect, he then, when asked how he will do this, he claims that he will tax Wall Street, which almost every conservative voter will be against, which isn't a good thing for Bernie. If he was more vague about how exactly he would make college tuition free, then he would most likely have more people voting for him. Then Trump also discards minorities as a target audience and appeals almost solely to conservative voters, primarily white ones. He focuses entirely on appealing to the conservative voters because they are the majority of the voter turnout. And he appeals to the conservative voters by, of course, running as a conservative candidate. And not only that, but he also targets a lot the hate that conservatives have towards illegal immigrants. He does this by saying that making very big generalizations and saying that illegal immigrants are rapists, murderers, a wide variety of things. And by targeting the hate that conservatives have, the conservatives realize that he is a strong conservative candidate. Mitt Romney, for instance, in 2012, most people believed that he lost because he was uh, he was unable to gather enough of the white voter percentage, which is the most important one of all, and the one that he should have most of because he is the conservative politician running for president. So Donald Trump has learned from Mitt Romney's mistakes, and he realizes that the most important thing is to target white voters specifically, which he does very well. And he also focuses on conservative values such as the American dream. And by focusing on the American dream, he targets traditional values that the conservatives have since the foundation of the 13 colonies almost. And by doing this, he gets even more conservative voters to vote for him by saying things such as the American dream is dead, but I'll make it bigger and better than ever before, or such as his main slogan of the campaign, which is "Let's make America great again." A common rhetorical device used in presidential speeches is simplicity. JFK, for instance, in his inaugural address, made the famous quote, um, "Ask yourself not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country." It is a very simple quote that stays in people's minds, and that is because simplicity is an effective rhetorical device. It has been seen that consistently presidential speeches have deteriorated in terms of reading level. This is mainly to appeal to more people because, after all, you are running as the president of the entire nation. And so Trump makes a very good use of simplicity by being very simple about politics. He does not go into specific aspects of politics, such as how much budget exactly he will put into to reduce the U.S. national debt, or how much budget he will use to reduce unemployment, things along those lines. Um, Trump is very, very, very vague about the things he says. He simply says, "I will reduce unemployment. I will reduce the U.S. national debt. I will stop illegal immigrants from entering the country." And by doing this, as has been stated before, Trump will appeal to more voters because he is more vague and he is not specific about how exactly he will accomplish things. And of course, this is to one is to expect a backlash from such things because since he is not specific about things, you would expect newspapers to and the media to question him and ask him how exactly will you do this because simply promising it isn't enough. But Trump makes has several strategies he uses to create diversions and make people not so much focus on his actual politics, but focus on other aspects, which we will look at later. And of course, other candidates talk a lot more about politics because, after all, they are all politicians. But Trump is not a politician, he is a businessman. And that is a large part of why people like him. Since he is a businessman, he is not only a legitimate person, not one of those fake politicians that many people are tired of in the current day and age, current culture. Constantly, you hear people talking about government corruption, all politicians are corrupt, etc. But here you have Donald Trump, who isn't a politician. And not only that, Donald Trump is running on his own money. The entire campaign is funded by himself because he is a billionaire. And unlike other candidates like Jeb Bush or Hillary Clinton, he is not funded by other businesses, which will effectively make them have to do favors for the businesses. And the person that the American people end up electing won't necessarily be Hillary Clinton, for instance, in office. It will be Hillary Clinton and the interest of the third party companies that funded her campaign. But with Donald Trump, this will not happen because Donald Trump is funding his entire campaign. The big part of Donald Trump's strategy is to spark drama and uproar amongst candidates. Nowadays, there is a lot of gossip going around, lots of gossip magazines. People are always interested in what celebrities are up to in websites such as World Star Hip Hop, for instance, which is also frequented primarily by African Americans, which is a demographic that Trump would not normally target, but by sparking drama and this old confusion among celebrities, he targets a much wider audience that way. And the main reason why Trump starts insulting other candidates and other minorities, even such as illegal immigrants, who he straight out says illegal immigrants are murderers, they are rapists, they commit crimes. He completely generalizes and insults everyone. And the reason why he does this is that it takes away the focus from his vague politics. He is not specific about what he will do and how he will fix things. So by constantly insulting and making people outraged and insulted, which is very common nowadays with all the new bloggers and YouTubers and things like that. Most of their videos are normally them being outraged at some sort of recent news that showed up that they did not enjoy, and therefore they decided to speak to the world regarding their opinion on said subject. And so Trump takes advantage of this current state of the culture, and what he does is by creating so much drama and all these things, he completely focuses the attention outside from the actual politics that people would normally ask him about, and into all the insults and all these things that he says, which can be seen in, for instance, his recent "Ask Me Anything" tweets, where all the negative tweets were not about how his policies were not good. All the tweets were trying to insult him back regarding his hair or talking about how he has made misogynist comments. And this is exactly what Trump wants because conservative voters do not care that he is insulting others. In fact, he has very high numbers with women, even though he has made misogynist comments. And by people constantly talking about his insults, they will not be talking about his politics, which, quite frankly, are very weak. Trump also always keeps a safeguard in his hand. In his recent rally in Dallas, Texas, he talked a lot about many people, many politicians, many celebrities. For instance, one of them was Bill O'Reilly. Before he started talking about Bill O'Reilly, he stated two times Bill O'Reilly is a great guy, he's a good guy, and only after that did he actually start criticizing Bill O'Reilly for criticizing Trump's politics. And the key to this is that later on, when he says these controversial things, the media will later ask him in interviews, why were you so misogynist towards women? Why did you say that the American dream is dead? Why did you insult Bill O'Reilly? He'll say, that is not what I said. I said Bill O'Reilly was a good person. I said the American dream is dead, but I'll make it better. And by saying always these things, he ends up having a sort of a cage that makes him invulnerable to outside insults and outside criticisms at him. And finally, Trump completely disregards political correctness. In the current day and age, political correctness is a large factor. You have many comedians, such as Jerry Seinfeld and several others, who refuse to speak at colleges anymore because they feel like the environment is too politically correct, which is harmful to what they do. And it is not just Jerry Seinfeld and so many comedians. There are many people who take their side and are very much against political correctness. So Donald Trump takes advantage of this and completely disregards it. By completely insulting people and being genuine, he doesn't seem like the typical fake politician. It seems like all the things he says he will do, he will actually try to do them and not actually comply with the demands of businesses because he doesn't have to. He funds his own campaign. And so, by taking advantage of the current state the culture is in, with all this backlash towards political correctness, seeing as the United States has become increasingly fed up with all the liberalism throughout these 8 years that Obama has been in office. Trump takes advantage of all this hate towards liberals and liberalism and basically uses that against the liberals in order to appeal to more voters. So to conclude, is Donald Trump's campaign brilliant or just plain awful? I have to say that Donald Trump's campaign is absolutely brilliant, even though I don't agree with almost any of Donald Trump's politics. His campaign is incredibly effective because he is soaring in polls and he is appealing to the people that he should appeal to, and he is doing a great job so far. Thank you for listening to my FOA. Goodbye.